All right, so we've got some more clarification on the situation with the PlayStation 5 DRM debacle, right? So for those of you who didn't watch the previous video, it came to some gamers' attention that if you bought a digital game on a PS5, PS4, after I think it was the end of March, that if you didn't check in every 30 days, you would not be allowed to continue to play the digital game that you bought. And of course, people freaked out because that is a completely dick move. Now they're saying that Sony is clarifying this, that it's not quite as dickish as originally reported, that in fact, you only have to check in once. And some people are still having a problem with this, understandably. I think it's, I'm going to say, I think it's the principle of the thing that we're being made aware with every passing year that we no longer own our games. We don't own our media anymore. And I think that is really what is bothering people so much about this situation, whether it was blown out of proportion or not, just the fact that we don't own our games. When we have executives at companies like Ubisoft making comments explicitly saying the quiet part out loud, that we no longer own our games, right? And then Sony turns around and does something like this. Of course, people are going to make the assumption that, yeah, they're trying to F us over, because everybody's trying to F everybody over these days. These corporations are trying to screw people over left and right. So let's talk about this update. Before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. This is Kneon. This is Clownfish TV. And this is the best way to help support the channel. We do not do live streams and super chats that much over here on Clownfish TV, unlike some other channels. So if you would like to support us, go out to more.clownfishtv.com. That's more.clownfishtv.com. And for less than the cost of a super chat, you actually get all kinds of paywalled content that you will not find on YouTube. So thank you very much for the support. Thank you, Reefers, for making this possible. Let's take a look at this article here. We've got a couple different versions. We've got Gizmodo. Freak out over PlayStation DRM was a big nothing burger. Sony should be more open about its platform changes, especially around DRM. Yeah, that's the thing. People just assume the worst now. They said this week PlayStation fans grew incensed that the PS5, made more expensive with price hikes, was reportedly requiring a new constant internet connection to play the games they buy. After watching the PlayStation community burn for days on end, Sony finally offered the barest explanation to cool the internet's hottest heads. The panic started with rumors of a new DRM, or digital rights management system, that perpetuated on X, which were further spread by and exacerbated by YouTubers. Is this ours? Let me see. Is this ours? Oh, it's not ours. I'm disappointed. It's not ours. And Twitch streamers. Some PlayStation users spotted an odd 30-day license check on new digital-only games purchased on both the PS4 and 5. The check seemingly required an internet connection to confirm the license's authenticity every month. However, even then, it was unclear if the game would actually stop working when the timer ran out. It turns out that the check is only a one-time occurrence. A Sony spokesperson told GameSpot. Players can continue to access and play their purchased games as usual. A one-time online check is required to confirm the game's license, after which no further check-ins are required. In the end, the DRM check is a one-time method to determine if a game's license is legit or not. It's likely a means to fight against a refund scam that let players keep a game after they went offline and refund the title. It likely only impacts new games purchased from March of this year or later. It's not nearly as sweeping as the infamous Xbox One DRM, where Microsoft originally instituted 24-hour internet check-ins for all purchased games. Yeah, that was ridiculous. Xbox removed those DRM checks months prior to the console's launch. Sony has been far too tight-lipped about changes to its platform and policies. When the company isn't open about these changes, it lets sensational social media speculation run rampant. Then it has to spend time on damage control, in this case, dropping the merest boilerplate statement. Yeah, they really screwed this up. They really screwed this up because they should have been on this as soon as that rumor hit the media. They should have been on it because some people are not going to see the correction. they're going to see the headlines, they're going to see the chatter on social media, and they're going to be like, yeah, Sony's trying to F us over. And the cynic in me says, nah, they're just walking it back because they got busted. You know, they waited a couple days. They said, hey, we can't do this. Okay, fine. It's a one-time check-in. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Because it hasn't even been a month since it rolled out, right? So that's the cynic in me. I think I think they actually planned to do something like this, and then there was so much pushback. They're like, oh, it's just a one-time check-in, guys, honestly. The article goes on to say the entire situation is indicative of anxiety surrounding game ownership. When you purchase a digital title on the PlayStation Store, you're not buying a copy of the game, but a personal license to play it, as explained in Sony's terms of service. That license can be revoked. Back in 2022, Sony removed several movies from German-based PlayStation accounts, likely due to Sony's own licensing issues. PlayStation controls what games are available to buy, evidenced by it removing over 150 shovelware titles from the digital storefront. Nobody will miss the games, but it's an example of how much control Sony has over the entire platform. They can restrict where and how you play your games. They can remove those games from your library if it deems necessary. And that's just it. That's what people are getting upset about. So this actually is a pretty balanced take. I mean, regardless, I guess that's the issue for me, is regardless of whether or not they were actually doing this, the fact that gamers jumped to the worst possible conclusion tells you everything you need to know about the current state of gaming. And I think this is why we're seeing Xbox sales down, why a lot of AAA titles are crashing and burning. I think people are like, you know what, I'll just go buy old games. You know, I'll play old consoles. I know the games are going to work. I plug them in, I put the disc in, I turn it on, it works. It's as simple as that. So Nib here, Nib95, who is, I feel like he's somebody I should know, multi-platform owning avid gaming fan, PS5, Series X, Switch, and PC. Entrepreneur, car enthusiast, all right, and tech, food, and entertainment lover. There we go, Nib95. So Resetera user and Shrew, and now also confirmed by Does It Play, appear to have figured out what's going on with the DRM. The good news is it's temporary, not permanent. Here's how it works. When you buy a digital game, you're issued a temporary 30-day license for offline play. The license automatically transitions to permanent. That will be free from future online check-ins anytime you connect after the 15th day of ownership, just after the 14-day refund window. So it's about refunds. But you have to log in or be connected to the internet for it to switch. You will not lose the license to the game if you don't connect within or after the 30-day temporary license window, but you'll be unable to play the game after 30 days till you do, after which it'll turn into an indefinite DRM free license. Previously, you'd been given an indefinite offline play license from the get-go. So they are changing it. It's just not as extreme as people thought. So why they implement this? It's possible people found an exploit where they could grab the indefinite license, file for a game using an exploitable console, and then refund the purchase so they got the game for free. By issuing a temporary license during the refund window, users can no longer pirate a permanent license and simply refund the game. As long as you log in any time after the 14-day refund window of any digital game purchase, it will turn into a permanent license. All right, so this seems to be about just controlling, whether or not people can refund a game. The problem is, this is how it starts. That's what I'm saying. Like, the problem is, this is how it starts. And again, gamers are going to assume the worst because some of these studio heads are some of the worst people in corporate America. I mean, let's be honest, right? Video games are big money. And if they want you to rent your games forever, which is what I think is going to happen eventually, and they're going to keep inching us in that direction, and they're going to turn the temperature up little by little, and eventually you're not going to own your games. You need to get used to the idea of not owning your games, according to Ubisoft. So that's why people assume the worst. And I still think we need to go back to couch play consoles. I think we need to go back to physical media and couch play consoles. That is my opinion, but there we go, guys. That's what this is actually about. It took Sony several days to issue a statement of some kind, but there it is. What do you guys think? I still think it's kind of bullshit, but I understand, I guess, why they're doing it. But I personally think they walked it back. That's my personal opinion. I think that they were going to do this every 30 days. They got busted, so they're like, okay, it's just a one-time thing. Again, just an opinion. Gonna wrap it up. Please subscribe. We'll talk later.